In a small town on the outskirts of Enugu, where everyone minds their own business and gossip travel faster than Okada, lived a 29-year-old lady named Chiamaka, a struggling tailor with a good heart, but with a bitter past. She had been abandoned by her fiancé 3 years ago after a miscarriage, and since then she poured all her love into the community, especially children. One hot Thursday afternoon, while returning from Ogbete market, Chiamaka heard the cry of a baby echoing from a nearby bush. At first, she ignored it, thinking it was a prank or animal, but something tugged at her spirit. She followed the sound, and there, wrapped in an old wrapper, was a newborn baby, barely a few hours old. Without thinking twice, she picked the child up, cleaned him, and took him home. The news spread like wildfire. Some called her a heroine, others whispered behind her back, "What if it's juju?" or hope she didn't steal somebody's baby. Despite the mixed reaction, Chiamaka bonded deeply with the baby. She named him Obim, my heart. For weeks, she cared for him, brought baby food with the little money she had, and even stopped sewing for clients to give him full attention. Then one day, the mother showed up. She was young, beautiful, and desperate. Her name was Ezinne, a 29-year-old university dropout who had given birth in secret after her rich boyfriend denied responsibility. Out of shame and fear, she had left the baby in the bush, hoping someone else would take him. Now, after regretting her decision, she had come back to reclaim the baby. But Chiamaka refused. She said, "You had your chance and you threw him away. You don't deserve this child." The community was divided. Some supported Chiamaka, others insisted the biological mother should take her child. It escalated to the police station. Even the DPO, an older man with grown children, found the case complex. Then, during the hearing, Ezinne broke down and told the full story. She had been raped by her boyfriend during a supposed romantic trip. When she got pregnant, he dumped her and paid her mother to keep quiet. Her mother then forced her to hide the pregnancy until delivery, and once she delivered, she was told to throw the shame away, literally. The room felt silent. Chiamaka looked at the girl again. She said she saw not a monster, but a victim, a younger version of herself. After minutes of silence, Chiamaka said, "If you truly want him back, come live with me. Let's raise him together until you can stand on your feet." Everyone was shocked, even Ezinne. The case never made it to court. Ezinne moved in, and over the month, both women healed together. Chiamaka found sisterhood and purpose. Ezinne found support and hope. Baby Obim, he grew with double the love. 3 years passed. Obim was no longer a baby. He was now a lively, curious little boy with bright eyes and an infectious laugh. Chiamaka and Ezinne had raised him like mothers, sisters, and friends. Their bond had grown unbreakable. Chiamaka's small tailoring business flourished. Thanks to the support of neighbors who admired her selflessness, Ezinne enrolled in a community adult education program, working part-time and regaining her confidence. Everything was finally falling into places until he showed up. Obim's biological father, Emeka, tall, wealthy, and arrogant, pulled up in a black SUV one humid afternoon. He didn't come alone. He brought lawyers. He claimed custody of Obim. At first, the women laughed. It has to be a joke, but Emeka was serious. His reasons: "That's my blood. I want my son raised with class and opportunity, not in a tailor's house with two failed women." The words stung, especially to Ezinne. Emeka's sudden interest was fueled by political ambition. Words had gotten out that he had an illegitimate child, and his political party urged him to clean up his image by showing he was a present father. But Chiamaka and Ezinne weren't ready to let Obim go. The town bustled again, whispered judgment, debates. A court began its case. Unlike last time, this one made it to the courtroom. The judge was a strict Igbo woman, respected and feared. During the trial, she asked just one question. What makes someone a true parent? Blood or sacrifice? Emeka bragged about his wealth, his properties, his ability to send Obim abroad. But when asked what the child liked to eat, his favorite cartoon, or the first time he walked, he had no answer. Chiamaka and Ezinne told stories. They brought Obin's drawings, his favorite spoon, his baby blanket. They showed love, not in words, but in proof. Then something unexpected happened. Obin himself, now 4, was brought to the courtroom. The judge knelt and asked softly, "Who do you want to go home with?" The little boy looked at the room, confused, then ran to Chiamaka and Ezinne. "I want to go home with my mummies." The court felt silent. The judge ruled in favor of Chiamaka and Ezinne, with Emeka granted supervised visit, but only if he proved long-term commitment. Emeka walked away, humiliated. Years passed. Obin was now 17, tall, smart, with the quiet strength of Chiamaka and the emotional depth of Ezinne. He was preparing for university, already writing poetry, and often helping his mothers at home or in the shop. To outsiders, he was the perfect son, and truly, he loved his home. But there was one thing no one talked about anymore: the bush, the baby, the day he was found. Obin only knew the version his mother gave him. "You were left for us by fate, a gift." But fate wasn't enough anymore. Obin wanted the truth. One afternoon, while cleaning out old boxes in the shop's backyard, Obin stumbled upon a brown envelope tucked behind Chiamaka's sewing machine. Inside, newspaper clippings, police statements, a court letter addressed to Miss Ezinne Nwankwo, a small faded photo of a baby wrapped in a wrapper on the ground. The rules spun. He wasn't just a foundling, he was abandoned. That evening, he sat both women down. "Tell me the truth, all of it." Tears welled up in Ezinne's eyes first. She began to speak, her voice trembling, telling him everything she had once been too ashamed to say about Emeka, the rape, the silence, her fear, the night in the bush, and then how Chiamaka found him and chose him and refused to let go. Chiamaka didn't say much. She simply looked at Obin with the same quiet love she'd had for 17 years. But Obin didn't cry. He stood quietly and walked out. Obin left the house and went straight to the place they said it all happened. The bush outside Enugu. It was overgrown now, barely recognizable. He stood there for hours, alone, processing. "They saved me, but why wasn't I worth keeping in the first place?" It wasn't anger, it was pain. It was the ache of being loved after being thrown away. That night, instead of returning home, Obin left a letter on the kitchen table. "To my 2 mothers, I love you, but I need time, not to punish you, but to understand myself. I will be back, but first, I need to find him." A year later, Obin returned. He had tracked down Emeka, now a failed politician with a tainted reputation and a drinking problem. Their meeting was awkward, empty. Emeka tried to explain, then asked if Obin needed money. Obin said, "I just wanted to see the man who gave me life, so I can appreciate the women who gave me love." He stood up and left. Back in Enugu, Chiamaka was sewing. Ezinne was cooking okra soup. When Obin returned through the door, there was no words, just tears, hugs, and silence. Then he said, "I know where I came from now, but more importantly, I know who I belong to. You didn't just save me, you chose me, and I chose you back." So this is the story of Obim, a little boy that was born and thrown away because of fear, but was later raised by two caring mothers. Sometimes family isn't who you are born into, it's who chooses to stay and love you. Would you have done what Chiamaka did if you happened to be in her shoes? Let me know in the comment section below, okay? Blood may create a child, but it takes love to raise one. Okay? Sometimes the truth hurts, but in the end, love, real love always brings us home. If you have been in Obin's shoe, what would you have done? Let's discuss all this in the comment section below, okay? And don't forget to share this story with someone who believes in family. Thank you all for watching. See you all in my next one. Do have a lovely day. Bye.